It was March 2020 when we heard of a new virus coming out of China that was threatening to spread. I remember it well, and I remember how quickly we were told to go home from the office. The first few weeks were a novelty. The excitement of working from home, it didn't last long. Nobody was allowed to leave the house, people couldn't visit their loved ones, businesses suffered, people died. All of a sudden, it becomes a reality, and then it sinks in. How long is this going to last? And the worst of it, nobody really knew. Whole towns and cities were emptied overnight. Nobody on the streets, except a few police cars, checking that nobody was outside. Yes, that did happen in some places. And then, after almost 2 years, the first signs of it breaking, people gradually ventured out. You started to see cars on the roads, but we didn't know the full extent of the aftermath. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here, my name is Craig, and today I'm going to be talking about cave syndrome. So what exactly is cave syndrome? Well, to understand cave syndrome, you have to go back to 2019 or 2020, to the start of the pandemic. And nobody really understood what was going to happen once the pandemic was over. But it's over, but it's not over. Because cave syndrome basically came from the pandemic. And it's the reluctance or unwillingness to reintegrate into your old life, effectively. And I had some dark days, as I'm sure we all had. You know, all those people that suffered and died because of COVID. So in this video, first of all, I'll give you my experience. And secondly, we'll talk about what I did to try and overcome cave syndrome. So back when we realised we were going to be working from home, to give you some background, I've been working away from home as such in different countries for, I'm going to say more than 25 years. So I've kind of used to being on my own, so to speak. But it was different when COVID came along. I was actually here in Oman, and before that I was living with my wife and son in Malaysia for 7 years, and that was the only real time in the last 25 years that I haven't been alone when I've been working in a foreign country. So to cut a long story short, I came to Oman after we decided that my wife and son would go back to the Philippines when our son turned 5 and started going to school. And the reason for that is our son is autistic, and we thought that it would be better for him to go back to the Philippines with all his cousins around him. He would have more company, instead of sitting at home in the apartment. So that's what we agreed upon, and then I got this job just before they were planning to go back to the Philippines. I got this job here in Oman, so I came here, and then that was in January 2019. In March 2020, I had been home to the Philippines a couple of times. Every 6 months I would go back. So I had been back in Oman for a couple of months in March 2020, and all throughout COVID I couldn't move. I couldn't leave the country, and what happened was, in the end I didn't see my wife and son for 2.5 years. So that's my story. When the COVID restrictions were starting to be lifted, I noticed a lot of restaurants, businesses had closed down, and I wanted to go back to the Philippines. So eventually, after 2.5 years, I did that. But when I came back, I noticed that I didn't really want to go out anywhere. before COVID, I was going to bars, hotel bars. I was active, and I realised that I just couldn't be bothered. And for a long time, I was like that. Some really, really dark days. And even once or twice, I'm not too embarrassed to admit it, I would be sitting in my apartment or on the balcony, basically in tears, just because of the situation. So I started realising that I needed to do something about this. So what I did was I started going out more, especially at weekends. And these are the places I would come. I would go down to the beach, I would go to a supermarket, to a mall, just get out. And I know some of you might still be suffering. So my advice would be, try to go out, even if it's only for 10 minutes. Walk along the street, go back, and you'll start to feel better. And eventually you'll go out for longer periods of time. Even just going to the supermarket is a big thing, because it gets you out, it gives you some human interaction, if you can call it that. The reason I decided to talk about this cave syndrome is because in Oman, believe it or not, in the old days when people would get sick, really sick, especially with contagious diseases, like the plague or something like that, they used to put the people into the caves. And here in Oman, there's a lot of caves in the mountains. Oman is a very mountainous country, especially around Muscat, Nizwa, Salalah in the south. So this is what they did. And it got me thinking, when I found out about this cave syndrome, I thought that would be a good idea to make a video. So that's the history behind it. So if you are suffering from mental health issues brought on by cave syndrome, there's a lot of mental health helplines that you can call. Obviously it depends on which country you're in, but just Google it, you'll find one. So thanks for watching the video, and please subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and if you like the post, apparently it helps with the YouTube algorithm. Thanks and take care.